Hello everyone, this is Kenji again. Today, why don't we fold my laundry together? I just finished my laundry and just throw them on my floor. And yeah, I was just thinking maybe I should try something new, right? So yeah, why don't we fold the clothes together? Alright, so anyways, this morning I woke up and I went to the gym as usual. I try to go about 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week. And I went to the gym and did the Stairmaster for about like 10 minutes, and then I walked on a treadmill for about another 10 to 15 minutes, and then I stretched, right? So that was like total of 30 minutes of workout. I don't do anything too crazy when I work out. I feel like that's the key to staying consistent, at least for me. Instead of trying to do like one heroic workout, that kind of mindset, for me at least, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to make it consistent when you try to do a heroic workout every time you go, right? Because it's just too intense, it's too hard. So I try my best to not do anything too crazy. I just try to work at a moderate level. So I did work out for about half an hour, and then after I was finished with my workout, I get a huge craving for this Korean pork soup, right? And I was like, man, should I go? Should I not go? I seriously contemplated, because there's this this Korean pork soup place near my apartment that's only like 5 minutes away, and it's really good, especially when you go there in the morning before 10. They have early bird specials, right? So it's usually about $20 when you go there and eat it. If you go there in the morning, you get like $5, $6 off. So it's kind of cheaper, right? 25% off about. So I was sitting in my car thinking, and highly really contemplated whether I should go. And I was like, okay, maybe why don't I go back home first and put the laundry in the dryer, because I was running the laundry already in the washer. So I was like, okay, why don't I go back? My laundry should have been done from the washer, and I should just move them to dryer, right? And then I'll decide. And this urge was so strong, right? I mean, like, do you guys ever feel that way? You get like a sudden craving, sudden kick, right? It almost feels as if it's just irresistible. And that's how strong my urge was. So I was like, you know what? I probably should just go, right? But then I'm like, man, like, how can I give in to my urge every time I get a craving? That's why it's been so hard for me to save up any money, because eating out is one of my vices. I mean, I have a lot of vices, right? Eating out, shopping. Before it was gambling, so, for sure, but it's no longer my vice for now. But I'm still struggling with eating out, because I feel like I eat out too much. I whenever I'm stressed out, whenever I feel down, I get an immediate craving for something good. And I think it's because it's a lot of times, when you're feeling down or
It's 11 a.m.
feeling like a crab, you immediately or you naturally feel like you want to feel better, right? You naturally crave that dopamine hit you will get from eating tasty food. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with eating out or wanting to eat tasty food, but if I'm eating out every time I feel down or I feel stressed out, it's really going to hurt my budget, right? And it's almost unsustainable. All my hard-earned money goes towards eating out, and I hardly have any money left at the end of the month if majority of my money just goes towards eating out, right? So anyway, so yeah, I was feeling a little guilty or super guilty for wanting to go out to eat out again. I mean, last time I ate out was last week, so it's a while ago, and already I've been cutting down a lot, and I think for the most part I've been doing pretty well in terms of managing my cravings and my uncontrollable I guess satiation. But anyways, I just didn't know what to do. Like, what do I even do? I didn't really have an alternative to that pork soup because I really didn't really have much at home. I usually these days I try to make egg scramble with just a bunch of eggs and frozen vegetables and cheese, and even if it's not the best, it's eatable. It's doable. But I ran out of eggs too. I was like, oh, I don't even have eggs, so there's my another excuse to eat out, right? I was thinking, okay, like since I don't have anything to eat at home, why don't I just go out to eat? But then again, I was feeling guilty. I just didn't want to give in automatically to this craving like I always do. And recently, I started doing this thing to kind of try like a new way to control my cravings and random urges to go out to eat. I opened this new savings account with Marcus, high yield savings account, and I named it that savings account. I named it Urges Savings, right? So every time, whenever I'm able to not give in to my urge and not save or not spend that money, have been putting that money away into my savings account. And I think it's kind of like a brilliant idea, right? Because you kind of get to see how much money you get to save from not giving in to urge. And that urge does not only include my urge to eat out, but it includes an urge to just mindlessly go online shopping, right? So like for the past few weeks, this is not the first time in a few weeks I've had an urge to go have that Korean pork soup. I think I had the urge to go eat that last week too. But last week was pretty just as strong. And I just told myself, okay, I'm not going to give in to my urge. And I'm going to put this money away into my savings account. And I did. So I transferred like $20 from my checking account into my urge savings account. And that was good. That was really good. And I kind of felt proud of myself for doing that, because usually when I have an urge to go out to eat, it's not even an option for me to even just think about not giving into my cravings. It's almost like, oh, I crave this food. Okay, I'm just gonna go have it. Right? It's usually like that. And you can tell probably why it's been so hard for me to save any kind of money. And also on top of that, I've been saying, I live in California, and I don't even make that much money to begin with. So combine that with just eating out almost every day, it's no wonder I don't have any money saved. Anyways, I don't know though, like controlling, not giving in to your cravings and these urges, random urges, and it's really hard to suppress the urge a lot of times. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I don't know if it's because of my ADHD, but it's really, really hard for me to not give in to these impulses a lot of times. That's really, really challenging for me. And I have looked up on ADHD subreddit if there are people out there who have similar struggles, right? And there are a lot of people who have very similar struggles as I do, saying how it's so hard to not give in to urges. And people with ADHD, we like on our day-to-day life, there's hardly anything that gives us a dopamine kick. That's why I become really, really impulsive, because every time when there's something good enough to give us that dopamine kick, we cling on to it, right? We become obsessive over it. That's why people with ADHD, they are more likely, statistics show this. It's not just me talking out of my ass. Statistics show that people who have been diagnosed with ADHD, they are more likely to fall into all kinds of different addiction: alcohol addiction, drug addiction, gambling addiction, food addiction, sex addiction, you name any kind of addiction. People with ADHD are more likely to have it. And it really comes down to their almost lack of capacity or lack of ability to control their impulses compared to people without ADHD. And you may blame such behavior as lack of discipline, self-discipline, right? And that's what I used to think too. Whenever I give in to all these kind of different addictions, I used to be addicted to gambling. I used to be addicted to gaming. And I used to tell myself that, oh, I just need more self-discipline. I'm just lazy. I'm just weak-minded. That's the statement, that's the inner voice I used to tell myself. But after I learned more about ADHD, I'm not so sure if that's the case. It's not necessarily about, lacking self-discipline, not having enough strong will to control these problematic behaviors. And like the reason, so like people with ADHD, one thing I know is that so like how prefrontal cortex, that's the part of the brain that is responsible for self-regulation, right? Planning, making a judgment, emotional regulation. So people with ADHD, they have a delay in that specific part of the brain. And I believe that it's delayed by like 30%, 40%. So you may be 25 years old, but technically your brain development is delayed by 30%. So your brain is not 25 years old. You're like, what's the 30% of it? Like you're behind, like 7 or 8 years behind your peers, right? Who's 25 years old. So compared to like people who's 25, if you have ADHD, you are actually delayed by like 7 or 8 years. So you're technically like 18 or 17 years old, from a perspective of your brain development. And if you look at people or kids who's like 17 or 18, one thing you realize is that they still lack a lot of self-regulation, right? That is why they set a limit on when people can buy alcohol, right? In California, it's 21 years old in order to be able to purchase alcohol, because their argument is that, people who are not 21 yet, they don't have enough self-regulation and control to consume alcohol. That's funny though, because even people who are over 21, they still don't have enough self-regulation and self-control. But if you're even younger than that, you can imagine how little of self-control they would have when it comes to consuming alcohol, right? Okay, this one I probably shouldn't fold. I need to make a space for this. So, man, my closet is so messy. Okay, let's see. I'm going to have to clear out this area. So that's why. What was I actually talking about? So people with ADHD, they have developmental delay in their brain, and you can just assume that they have harder time in many aspects of life, right? They have hard time planning things out. They have hard time controlling their emotions. They have hard time controlling their impulses like I do, right? So I just want to say, it's been really, really hard for me to control my cravings and these random urges to shop. I've been doing much better, but then again, it's still very, very hard. It's still very hard, and I don't know how I'm gonna be able to control it completely. You know, I've tried taking medication too, but it was giving a lot of side effects. So yeah, I decided to discontinue the medication. And I know that it's always going to be a challenge. Okay, I think I'm getting a little tired and I still haven't had the breakfast yet. So I'm gonna hang this here. So I have like very little energy to even fold laundry. So, you know, I basically did not give in, and I completely, you know, skipped the breakfast this morning. And oh man, I feel really, really hungry. I don't know. I think I'll finish up this later. Anyways, thank you for watching my video. Thank you for helping me fold my laundry together. That's been good. I'll put these here. It's been good. You know, I felt a little more motivated to fold laundry, so it was good. Alright guys, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright guys, as you can see, I just finished folding all the laundry and putting them in and organizing them, so not that bad, right? Yeah, I just wanted to show you the end result, I guess. Alright guys, take care, bye.